Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we will start our class now. Jazakumullah everyone for arriving on time. I hope and pray that everyone is well. So I will start by reminding everyone about the class etiquettes. So please just make sure, keeping in mind the due respect of the Holy Qur'an, make sure that you have performed wuzu and your head is covered, and also make sure that you're sitting in a quiet place. Make sure that you are logged in with your correct ID and your camera is switched off throughout the class. You will only need to turn your mic on when you are called by the SD. So now I would like to request the TA to go through the PDF on how to join with correct ID.
Okay, Jazakallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So as already mentioned in the previous classes, it's very important that you sign in with the correct ID that was sent to you in the confirmation emails. I can see that most of you are already signed in with the correct IDs, but could I please request those who are not signed in correctly to please follow these steps and change your sign into the personal ID. So now this is what you already have done correctly because you are in the class now. You go onto the Zoom link from your device and join the meeting. When joining a meeting, make sure that you delete any default devices or any device names and enter your personal ID that was provided to you in the email. It starts with G and has usually 3 to 4 digits. Remember to click all these boxes so it's saved for future classes. Once you've entered your personal ID, you will enter the meeting password and join the meeting. Please wait patiently when you see this window and double check your audio if you haven't already. The host will then let you in. If you still can't find your ID in a confirmation email, please email us with your name and Jamaat at this email address on the screen. And after you've joined the meeting, look for this information bar. It will either be at the top or bottom of your screen. Click on Manage Participants and look for yourself. If your name or your device's name is still appearing, hover your mouse next to your name, and there will be an option to rename yourself. Click on Rename and type your personal ID. If you'd like to go through this again, or for more information, you can visit us on YouTube or at YouTube at NQC UK and watch the video on how to join Zoom meetings again. Jazakallah. So I'll hand over again back to the day teacher.
Jazakallah. So now we will proceed with our class and we will start with the Quranic prayer. So can I request the ST for an ID?
Assalamu alaikum. Could student G4409 come on the mic, please?
G4409. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, let's recite this prayer starting with Tawuz.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbana zalamna anfusahuna wa inal lam ta'fir lana wa tarhamna lana ku nanna minal khasirina.
Jazakillah. So you're cited good. Just remember, there are quite a lot of instances in this prayer where we have huruf al-mad, and that is our today's lesson. So you'll learn about this more, but just prolong this for 2 seconds, okay? رَبَّنَا. Okay, just like that. And then this word, أنفسنا.
Anfusana.
Jazakallah. And then if you can also try this here. وَإِلَّمْ.
Wa illam.
Very good. Jazakallah. Now we can continue with the translation.
Our Lord, we have wronged ourselves, and if thou forgive us not, and have not mercy on us, we shall surely be of the lost.
Jazakallah. And this is, as I said, from the Holy Qur'an,
Yeah.
Surah Al-Araf, verse 24. Okay. So the next thing is Hadith. Can we have another student?
G4 Course 67.
G4467.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay. Let's start with the Durood Sharif.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Anabi Amamatul Bahli قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول اقرأوا القرآن فإنه يأتي يوم القيامة شفيعا لأصحابه. Abu Umama, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, read the Quran, for it will come as an intercessor for its companions on the day of resurrection. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. So I just want to mention a few things in terms of pronunciation. Just remember to differentiate between the sound of Ain and Alif. It appears quite frequently in the Durood Sharif. I think, yeah, and one more thing, when the word Lam,
Yes.
Mushaddad, in the word Allah, whenever there is Fatha before that,
Yes.
we should try to make it thick.
Like
So,
Islamullah.
yes.
Allah.
Allahumma.
Yes. Allahumma.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Okay. Can we have another student?
G4416. Please come on the mic.
G4416. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Okay.
Saying of promised Messiah. It simply came to our notice then that the appropriate word he remembers quickly. That is why he said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. Meaning, indeed we have made the Quran easy to remember, but is there anyone who would take heed? It is in human nature not to remember a thing unless it is repeated over and over again. Why was it repeatedly called Subhana Rabbi Yal Ala and Subhana Rabbi Yal Azim? Once was enough, No, this is the secret that frequent repetition has an effect, and it also creates an awareness in the unconscious net forces. Therefore, Allah says, "Wazkurullaha kasiran la'allakum tuflihun," meaning, and remember Allah much that you may prosper.
Jazakillah. Just one thing here. This is how you would say this word. Kasirul la'allakum. Okay, there is not going to be any sound of noon.
जी कसीरन लअल्लकुम जी
Yes.
जज़ाकल्लाह.
Okay, so the next thing is the quiz, and I would like to request the ST to come on the mic and conduct the quiz.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And now we are going to start the quiz. If any of the students know, sir, please feel free to spread. Which surah of the Quran is always read in Jummah prayer? A. Al-Ghashiyah, B. Al-Ala. Can I request a student to answer this?
Yes,
A, please pick a student.
G4402.
Yes,
Assalamualaikum.
G4402. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. It is Al-Jum'ah, Surah Al-Jum'ah.
Yes. Surah Al-Jum'ah. Jazakallah for your answer. Let's see if that's right. The correct answer is B, Al-Fatiha. But Jazakallah for trying. The next question. I could have the question. Which is the shortest chapter or surah in the Holy Quran? A. Al-Kawthar, B. Al-Ikhlas.
Yeah, G4416.
Yes,
Al-Kawthar.
G44 Al-Kawthar.
A. Yeah.
Yes, let's see. Can I have the right answer? Yes, that's right. It's A, Al-Kawthar. The next question. Chapters in the Quran are named after C6, C7, or D8.
Yeah, it's G4467.
G4467. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Is it 7? I'm not sure, 7 or 8.
Jazakallah for your answer, and that's right. The correct answer is 7.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. The next question is, in which chapter or surah of the Holy Quran Allah has chosen Islam as our religion? A. Al-Ma'idah, B. Al-Ahzab, C. Muhammad, peace be upon him, or D. Al-Mu'minun. And can I have a student?
Yes, it's G4417.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, Chief 4417. Assalamu alaikum.
I think it's C, Surah Muhammad.
Okay, no, Jazakallah for your answer, but the correct answer is Al-Ma'idah. Okay, so the next question is, in Surah Al-Hijr, Allah says, "We have indeed given thee the 7 oft repeated verse and a great Quran. Verses of which surah are being referred to? A. 7 verses of Al-Kafirun. B. 7 verses of Al-Zalzal. C. 7 verses of Al-Fatiha. Or D. 7 verses of Al-Nas. And can I have a student?
Yeah, I've unmuted G4410.
G4410. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Could you get? Yes. Do you know the answer?
Is it A, 7 verses of Al-Kafirun?
Okay, Jazakallah per answer. Let's see. No, the answer is C, 7 verses of Surah Al-Fatiha. But Jazakallah for trying. And
Okay.
I think that Jazakallah, and I think that concludes the Quran quiz. Jazakallah to all the participants and well done.
Jazakallah. So now we are going to move on to our today's lesson. And as I mentioned earlier, it is letters of elongation. Okay. So to start off, it is very important to remember that there are 3 letters of elongation. Okay. They are also called huruf al-mad. Okay. And they are alif, waw sakin, and ya sakin. So the rule about letters of elongation or huruf al-mad is very simple. The term mad itself means to prolong, and therefore a huruf al-mad or letter of elongation, which means alif madda, waw madda, or ya madda, should be prolonged for 2 seconds, counts or beats. But how do we identify these letters of elongation? So, whenever an alif is preceded by a consonant carrying the stroke of fatha, it is identified as alif madda. Similarly, if waw sakin is preceded by a consonant, and consonant here just means a letter, carrying the stroke of dhamma, then the waw sakin will be called waw madda. Similarly, if ya sakin is preceded by a letter carrying the stroke of kasra, then it will be called ya madda. And that is how we identify the huruf al-mad or the letters of elongation. So here are some examples. As you can see in the first word, we have the example of all 3 letters of elongation. And you should notice that the alif is not carrying the sign of sukoon. The letter ya and waw madda are carrying the sign of sukoon. So now, can I request the ST for a student to practice through these words?
Could G4436 come on the mic?
G4436, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Okay.
Uzina. Qala.
Okay, very good. Just the lam, make it a bit shorter, 1 second long.
Qala.
Okay, much better. Jazakallah, G4436. So, why is this rule important? So, what I mean by this is, why is it important for us to learn this rule? So, in the very first lesson, the teacher covered the 2 broad categories of errors, which are lahn jali, which means major errors, or the errors which cause a change in the meaning of a word, and lahn khafi, which means hidden errors. And people like us, you and me, we won't be able to notice it. Only the people who speak the Arabic language or who have learned it would notice those errors. So it's these errors, major errors, Lahni Jali, which we need to avoid because they will cause a change in the meaning of the Quran. And the relation of this to our today's lesson is because there are 4 types of major errors. Okay, 4 types of errors which cause a change in the meaning. And the second type is when we shorten or prolong a vowel. So here's an example. You can see that there is a word, la rayb. Okay, we can see that we have got an example of alif mad here, alif of elongation. Okay, and we know that because the previous letter is carrying the stroke of fatha. But let's suppose someone makes a mistake and shortens this. And instead of 2 seconds, they only pronounce this for 1 second. La rayba. Okay, so the lam has been shortened. And let's have a look at the meaning. The meaning will change from no doubt to sure doubt. And you can see how the meaning is completely opposite. Okay, so we can't afford to make such mistakes while reciting the Holy Quran. Okay, and that is why today's rule is very important. So now we will practice each letter of elongation one by one. Okay, so first of all, we have alif of elongation. And everyone should just remember that when alif is preceded by a maftuh letter, okay, a letter which carries the sign of fatha, it should not be prolonged less than or more than 2 seconds. So it should be for 2 seconds exactly. So now we have an exercise. Can I request the ST for a student?
G4422.
G4422. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, let's start with Bismillah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Okay, Jazakillah. Since you recited Tawuz, okay, I just want to point something out. The letter Ta, make sure that we don't round it. It's a thick letter. Again, we have to round our lips, but it should just be pronounced as Minash Shaitan. Can you try that?
Shaitan.
Jazakillah, very nice. Okay, let's start from the first row.
Ta. 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 Ba. Ba. Ba.
Very good. So I would just like to point something out here. Okay, all students should remember that this rule of Ishbaya strokes, which we covered in one of the previous lessons, everyone needs to remember that Ishbaya strokes or long strokes, long vowels, are equivalent of the huruf al-mad. Okay, equivalent of letters of elongation in terms of the time that we give to them. Okay, next row.
Walakin lahu shadidu khalidan yu'minuna hamidun.
Jazakillah. So the first thing that I want to mention is the letter Qaf. We have 2 types, okay, a thick one and a thin one. And this one is thick one. So we should try to make a thick sound. Okay. Khalaqin. Jazakillah. And the second thing that I want to mention is that whenever we have tanween, we should do a slight nasal sound. Okay, it shouldn't be very long, Shadidun.
Shadidun.
Jazakallah. Apart from that, you prolonged all the letters of elongation nicely. Okay, so well done for that. Can we have another student?
Could G447 come on the mic, please?
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you repeat that ID?
Okay.
Is G4457?
Jazakallah.
Walakin
G4457. Let's start with A'udhu Billah and the third row.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أغرقنا موسٍ قدير فلها يرجعون شهيد خلقنا تعملون حليم أرضنا يقتلون عزيز.
Okay, Jazakallah, G4457. MashaAllah, you're cited really well. Just a few things. Every time there was a tanween on the last letter, you were prolonging. I'm not sure why, but just remember you don't need to prolong, okay? It shouldn't be longer than 1 second. Okay? Qadirun. Try.
Qadirun.
Okay, much better. Also, we have this letter Sod here. Okay, it's one of the 7 thick letters. So we have to differentiate its sound from the letter Sin. Okay, I can't give you an example from this page, but we have to differentiate between the sound of Sin and Sod. They are similar sounding letters. Okay, and remember, one of the major errors is to mispronounce a letter. Okay, when we mispronounce a letter, that will also change the meaning of the word. Okay, similarly, the letter Ain, we have to differentiate its sound from Alif and Hamza. Okay, and this letter Ha, okay, we have 2 types of Ha as well. The small Ha, okay, I can give you an example. Can you see here?
Yeah.
Okay, this one comes from the bottom of the throat. Okay, whereas this big Ha comes from middle of the throat. So, just try to differentiate between their sounds. Halimun.
Halimun.
Jazakallah. Ta'amaluna.
Ta'maluna.
Jazakallah, very good effort. Okay, so now we will move on to the next letter of elongation, which is waw of elongation. Now, whenever a waw is preceded by a madmum letter, okay, so a letter which is carrying the stroke of dhamma, it should not be prolonged less than or more than 2 seconds, counts, or beats. Okay, so now we have another exercise. Can I request the SD for another student?
Assalamu alaikum. Before I give it to another student, can I request everyone to check their IDs if they're correct? Because if they're not, then I'm afraid we have to send you to the waiting room. So please make sure they're correct. Jazakallah. So the next student is G4445.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, let's start with Tabuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تو بو خلقنا تعملون حليم أرضنا يقتلون عزيز.
Jazakillah. You recited very well, mashallah. Just again, be mindful of the similar sounding letters. Okay, so the letter ha, as I mentioned to the previous student, we have to make a different sound for this one. Halimun.
Halimun.
Okay, and the letter I. Jazakillah. Very good effort. Can we have the next student?
And the next student is G4421.
G4421. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Okay, let's start with Tawbus.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أحلامي فألقوه مبين نسيا يبصرون الذين علمنا موسى رحيم بلغ مفسدون تجري.
Jazakillah. G4421. Mashallah, you recited really well. Just one little thing. I felt like you did a jerk on the letter meme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you try that again?
علمنا.
Much better, Jazakillah. So the sound of meme should be very clear.
Okay. Okay. Jazakallah.
Okay, so now we are moving on to the last letter of elongation, which is ya of elongation. If it is preceded by a maksur letter, okay, so a letter which is carrying the sign of kasra, it should not be prolonged less than or more than 2 seconds, counts, or beats. Okay, so now we are on the last exercise. Can I request the SD for another student?
And G4413.
G4413. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, let's start with Tawuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم T T B B E E.
Okay, can you recite this word again? The first word.
T.
Okay, and third one.
B.
Jazakillah. Next row.
Is it أشقلها أشقلها يفقهون نائم أنظرنا يفسدون Khalidina.
Jazakallah. So you recited very good. I just want to say, make sure that it is very clear to the listener that you are prolonging these for 2 seconds. Okay, good 2 seconds. So,
Okay.
أثقالها.
Athqalaha.
Okay, similarly, here we have vowel elongation. Can you try that again?
Yafqahuna.
Very good.
Sorry. Naimun.
Very good.
Anzarna.
Okay, so we haven't covered this rule yet, but the correct way to say this word is أنظرنا.
Anzarna.
Very good.
Yufsiduna. Khalidina.
Okay. خالدين.
Khalidina.
Jazakillah. Okay, can we have one more student?
Okay. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
G4470. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jazakillah. G4470.
Okay, I will get another one. G4471.
G4471.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, let's start with Tawuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قنوان لكاذبون سليم لبثنا يدخلون بريء. I can't see the screen. Sorry, can you?
Yes, give me a second.
Jazakillah. Bunyanun ya'lamuna kadhibun nuhiha yastuna ansari.
Jazakillah. So I just want to mention 2 things. First of all, wherever there is a tanween, hold the nasal sound for a bit. Okay. Salimun.
Salimun.
Jazakillah. And secondly, here we have the letter Ta, and it is one of the 7 thick letters. So we have to differentiate its sound from the letter Ta. So just try to do that. Yastuna.
Yastuna.
Okay, Jazakillah. Now I will hand over to the TA who will go through the practice of Surah Bani Israel.
Okay, Jazakallah. Just screen share. Okay. Could I please request the support teacher to unmute a student, please?
Could I request G4416 to come on the mic?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. G4416.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Could you please recite the verse 11 of Surah Bani Israel? And please start with Dawuz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأن الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما.
Okay, Jazakallah. It's just what we've learned in the lesson today. We are not to prolong the single strokes here, so the single vowel. It will be recited as أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بالآخرة. So we will be prolonging this one for 2 seconds, but this fatha will only be for 1 second. Would you like to recite this again? Try the word only for first.
لا يؤمنون بالآخرة أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما.
Yes, that's brilliant. And we haven't covered the rule yet, but it will be bil-akhirah. So it will be a tiny bit rounded, ra. So it's not really rounded, but with a fuller mouth, but we'll be covering it later in the next lesson. So it will be bil-akhirati. Brilliant, Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Okay, could we have the next student, please?
G4425, please come on the mic.
G4425, Assalamu alaikum. G4425. I think.
Okay, so can I request G4436?
G4436, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Okay, could you please recite verse 12?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا.
Okay, brilliant. So you followed all the rules that we've learned so far. Just another thing, however, we will be spending approximately 5 seconds on this big mud. We'll be covering it, inshallah, in the next lessons. But just to inform you, for this one, for the big mud, we will be spending 5 seconds at least. And then here we are not going to pronounce this insan, we will be having a nasal sound. It will be insan. So this one, for example, the big mud will be bisharri du'a'ahu. So 2 seconds on this one, 5 seconds on this one, and then wakana al-insan. Yeah, so you can start again and pay attention on these highlighted bits.
Okay. Oh, should I read again?
Yes, please.
ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا.
Yeah, that's getting much better. Brilliant. Jazakallah. Okay. Could I request the support teacher to unmute another student?
G4462.
G4462. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, could you please recite verse 13?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وجعلنا الليل والنهار آيتين فمحونا آيات الليل وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة لتبتغوا فضلا من ربكم ولتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء فصلناه تفصيلا.
Okay, Jazakallah. Beautiful recitation, mashallah. Let's have a look at a few things that we can still improve. So the first is if we've got a noon sakin before the ramushad, that we wouldn't be pronouncing the nasal sound. So it would be fadlam mir rabbi. Yeah? And then we would be having the ayn sound, which is coming from the throat, but you have corrected that on your own when reciting it again. Yeah. Could you please recite again? Let me just check. Yeah, if you could recite this bit again.
From Mirabikum.
Sorry? Yes. Yeah, just this bit. Yeah.
Mirabikum walita'lamu adad sinina wal hisab.
Yeah, good. And then I like to calculate here as well. Hisab. Because we're pausing. That's fine. Okay, Jazakallah. Okay, and then could I please have another student?
G4 417.
G4 417. Wa alaikum salam. Could you please recite the next verse, starting from here?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا.
Okay, Jazakallah. Let's have a look at a few bits that we still need to improve here. As we had in today's lesson, we will have to pronounce this stroke. There you go. This one for 2 seconds. Yeah. So the vertical fatha, it would be azamna. So for 2 seconds, and then this big mud, as I've already highlighted earlier, will be for at least 5 seconds, but we will be covering this rule later, inshallah. But however, we've got the 2 seconds here and the 2 seconds on this fatha as well. So if you could please recite again, and bearing in mind that you need to prolong for 2 seconds on these mud or on these fatha.
From start?
Yes, please.
Okay. وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا.
Yes, Yeah, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. Yes, brilliant. Well done. Okay, just another thing. If we've got a kasra before the letter ya, we will be prolonging this one for 2 seconds as well. However, we haven't covered this in the classes, but just informing you. So it will be fi 2 seconds because we've got a kasra before the ya. Okay, jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Okay. Could we have the next student, please?
G4423.
G4423. Assalamu alaikum.
Ji wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Could you please recite the next verse?
From Iqra. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا.
Jazakallah. You've corrected yourself. Yeah, that's fine. We've got a fatha, not a kasra, but bear in mind during the recitation we'll be pronouncing them correctly. Okay, that was a short verse. Could you please recite on up to here?
Yeah. من اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه.
Okay, Jazakallah. Beautiful recitation, mashallah.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Okay. Could I request the support teacher to unmute another student, please?
G4450.
Okay. G4450. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Okay. Could you please recite from the highlighted bit here for from wa up to the end of the verse, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن زل فإنما يزل عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وما كنا معذبين حتى نبعث رسولا.
Okay, Jazakallah. Beautiful recitation. I couldn't hear anything for you to be improved on. So Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Okay, could I please request the support teacher to unmute another student?
G4454.
Okay, G445. Wa alaikum salam. Could you please recite the next verse?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا أردنا أن نخلق قرية أمرنا مترفيها ففسقوا فيها حق فحق عليها القول فدمرناها تدميرا.
Okay, Jazakallah. I think your voice, your mic was a bit lagging, so I couldn't hear all the recitation, but some bits I could hear. For example, it's we haven't covered the rule yet, but just to inform you, we would be spending at least 2 seconds on this one here, because we've got a nun sakin followed by a nun mushaddad, so we will be pressing on it. And so it would be an, yes, it will be quite prominent on this one. And I think you've corrected on this one. I couldn't hear you, but you've recited the fa again. And then just at the end, as I've already highlighted earlier, we haven't covered it, however, but it will be mi, ra. So just a bit of a rounding of the mouth, because we are ending with the fatha here. If you could recite the verse again, please.
Why is
Yes, please. Yeah.
okay. وَإِذَا أَرَدْنَا أن نخلق قرية أمرنا مترافيها ففسقوا فيها فحق عليها القول فدمرناها تدميرا.
Yes, it's getting better, mashallah. So just to reiterate here, just 1 second on the single fatha, amarna, and not 2 seconds. And then we have qaf. It's to be distinguished from gaf. So the similar sounding letters, fahaqqa, fahaqqa. Could you just recite this word?
فحق.
Yes, good. Jazakallah. Okay, so I'll hand over to the day teacher. Jazakallah to everyone.
Jazakallah. So now, I would just like to remind everyone about the homework. So it's not really homework, but I would like to request everyone to practice Surah Bani Israel, okay? However many verses you can do, but make sure that you do practice it regularly and apply all the rules which we have learned so far. And if there are any rules that you already know, then you can also apply them. But be more mindful of the rules which you have learned in the classes so far. So to recap what we have learned so far, we learned about short vowels. Okay, there are 3 short vowels. And then we learned about long vowels. And in today's lesson, we learned about letters of elongation. So I would like to ask the students, can anyone name the 3 short vowels and also tell everyone about the rule for the short vowels? You can raise your hand. And if the ST can pick a student.
G4403.
G4403, Assalamu alaikum.
Haji, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, can you name the 3 short vowels?
Sorry, I'm confused.
Okay.
I'm confused because I have accidentally write my wrong ID. So sorry, and I noticed 10 minutes before. So sorry, and
okay, that's fine. So I would just remind everyone that we learned about 3 short strokes, which is fatha, kasra, and dhamma.
Yeah.
And the rule is to prolong it for no more than 1 second.
Yeah.
Yes, and for long vowels and letters of elongation, we should not prolong it for more than 2 seconds. It shouldn't be shorter or longer than 2 seconds. So with this, we are going to end our today's class. And inshallah, hopefully all of you will attend the next class as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.